Hello everyone and welcome to a new IK video. This is Ken from 73, and in this one we're gonna take a deeper look into the Earth Epic Immortals, where we have prepared a tier list here. We're gonna discuss the Earth Immortals that are available in the game so far. I know a couple of Immortals has not been released yet. Looking at the Immortals, what do you call it? The gallery. You can see in the gallery that there is a couple of, I think, 2 or 3 Immortals in the Earth team that has not been released yet. So far, these are all the Immortals that we have in the Earth team. There are a total of 8 Immortals: Alex, Charles, Ethan, Chin, Pacal, Cleopatra, Leonidas, Zenobia, and Muhammad II. So we're gonna place these Immortals in the tier list that we have here. Depends on how important these Immortals are in the Earth team, or how viable they are in any other march that you can use, not just the Earth team. So I would like to start with an Immortal that no one actually disagree on, which is Alexander. Alexander is probably the best free-to-play Immortal that you can get in the game. And the reason he's free-to-play, that you can unlock him easily, either through the login rewards that has been changed recently, the daily logins. You can see here that we can get Attila, a total of 60 shards per month, and there is sometimes you can get an Alex, or maybe Saladin, or maybe Alfred. So he's a free-to-play Immortal, and once you unlock him, you will be able to buy his shards from the market over here. Alright, so the first Immortal we have here is definitely in the OP tier. Alex is definitely one of my favorite Immortals, whether you use him in an Earth March or in a mixed Wind Earth March, or maybe in a Shadow March. Actually, he can be used in a lot of marches. I saw a lot of people as well using him in an Earth March, and he was very strong. He deals a lot of damage, counts a lot on his normal attacks. If you have his exclusive artifacts, he does insane amount of damage. Not only the normal attacks, you can use a skill such as Blade Vortex on him, and he will still be able to deal a lot of damage. The next Immortal that we have here is Muhammad II. Muhammad II, I did not see a lot of people are using him, and his skill is not that great, to be honest. His skill is kind of complicated and hard to understand, but quite simple at the same time. He simply deals damage to the Immortals, 2 Immortals that are in front of him in a direct line. The damage is a total of 600%. 600% is a lot of damage, but his energy regain is very low. He got only 60 energy regain at 2 stars, so probably will be 70 at max. Right, so the damage is applied to the enemy directly ahead. If the enemy dodges this damage, the skill will cast again immediately without consuming energy, and deals 30% increased damage. The 30% is fixed and does not increase with the stars of the Immortal. And of course, it cannot be dodged. So you count a lot on the Immortals dodging the skill. So the Immortal is not actually being utilized a lot, especially in the Conquest season, since you have already a very high amount of accuracy stat. So it's very unlikely to miss the skill, so you're not gonna make use of the 30% damage increase. So I'm gonna place him in the do not use, not very optimal option, to be honest, to use in an Earth March or any other march. So I'm gonna place him here. The second Immortal that we have is Leonidas. Leonidas is actually kinda a meh Immortal using his exclusive artifacts. He helps reducing the energy of the opponents if you have his exclusive artifact. Let me take a look here. So usually I think his skill is reducing the damage of the enemy team. I don't remember, to be honest. There he is. So he inflicts physical damage 250% max stars to all enemies, and reduces the damage you receive by 30%. Now, the damage you receive by 30% means that the Immortal himself. So Leonidas receives 30% less damage for 6 seconds. And of course, if you have his exclusive artifact, this one here, When Leonidas deals damage, reduces the target's energy by 150. Now, the Immortal is actually not that bad, but compared to the new Immortals that has been released recently, he's not doing that well. Also, his energy regain is very, very low. However, I've seen Leonidas in some marches dealing a lot of damage, since Earth Splitter deals damage to all the enemies. However, the only thing that is gonna hold him back is his low physical attack, since he's a defense Immortal. So I'm just gonna place him in the meh tier here, because he's not that strong. We have Pacal the Great. Pacal the Great is actually a complicated Immortal to use, since you need to use him along with an Immortal with a very high attack speed, which in this case is Alex, because his shields apply the more you do normal attacks. And if you have his exclusive artifacts, the shields will be a bit faster, because it reduces the requirements for the number of the normal attacks to apply the shields. So I'm just gonna place him here for now, since I'm not really sure how he looks like. I haven't seen anyone using him in an actual march. I haven't actually seen anyone have the Immortal Max to be used in an actual PvP. However, I've seen a lot of people using him in the open arena, and even though his shields was not that great. The second Immortal we have is Charles, and definitely an OP tier. Charles, no one disagrees on Charles and how OP his shield is, even after releasing an Immortal such as Poseidon, which I believe, in my opinion, the first real Immortal, or the first real counter for an Immortal such as Charles, because his bites that he applied through his skill negates the shields, or prevent the enemies from, or prevents the Immortals that are affected by his skill from receiving shields from Charles. However, Charles is still a very OP Immortal to use, and in Earth Marches he does wonders, to be honest. Yi Sun Chen, I've seen a lot of people using Yi Sun Chen in Earth Marches. I believe the first guy I've seen using Yi Sun Chen was a guy in server 105. There's also a couple of guys using him in server 38. There was a guy in server 205 as well, and I already talked about Yi Sun Chen in a couple of videos. He's a very good Immortal to use, to be honest. And looking at his skill, so Yi Sun Chen channel and create an area of protection for 6 seconds. All allied units will receive 30% at max level less damage. If you are using his exclusive artifact, that means that the affected Immortals by his skill will also receive more heals by 30%. His skill is good, and his exclusive artifact is good if you are using a healer in the march, and he's actually a very, very good Immortal. So I'm gonna place him in the B tier, or the very good tier that we have here. Cleopatra, I've talked plenty about Cleopatra in my old videos, and how OP she is against magical damage, since her skill negates the magical damage by 30%. And if you have her exclusive artifact, that means that the damage reduction that she applies lasts for 9 seconds instead of 6 seconds. So I'm gonna place Cleopatra in the decent tier, since she does a decent amount of damage, not very high damage. If you look at her skill, I think she does around 300% at max level. Yeah, 300%, and the magical damage reduction is actually 35%. 35% lasts for 6 seconds, and if you have the exclusive artifacts, the damage decrease lasts for 9 seconds. So she is a very powerful counter for Immortals such as Merlin, maybe Himiko, and maybe Loki, and all those Immortals that deals insane amount of magical damage. Imagine reducing this amount by 35%. However, there is a lot of better options right now. This is why I'm not gonna place here in the very good tier or the OP tier. So I'm gonna place here. She's a decent Immortal to use for maybe free-to-play players or the low spenders. Zenobia, the last Immortal that we have here, is the very first healer that we have in the game, and in my opinion, Zenobia, I would like to place her in the OP tier. However, ever since Theodora became much more cheaper, I think Zenobia is a very good immortal, and I'm gonna place her in the B tier. The reason for that is that there's a lot of players recently who are using a skill such as Blade Vortex. Blade Vortex does insane amount of damage, and the only counter for a skill such as Blade Vortex is Theodora, because she's removing or dispelling the continuous damage. That means that Zenobia is kinda a bit weaker compared to Theodora. This is why I'm gonna place Zenobia in the B tier. Looking at her skill, she actually heals a lot, restores 360% recovery rate to 2 units with the highest troop number losses, and 2 units will regain HP every time they land a successful normal attack. Zenobia for the mixed march is definitely way better than Theodora, considering her exclusive artifacts that increases the attack speed for the immortals that are being healed, or the heals that applies with the normal attacks. We all know that mixed marches counts a lot on the normal attacks, so I think Zenobia is way more important than Theodora in the mixed march. However, since there's a lot of people that are using Blade Vortex, Theodora is much more beneficial for everyone right now. So I'm gonna place Zenobia in the B tier or the very good. So this is my epic immortal, my epic earth immortals tier list. I'm gonna make more videos for the other elements. However, I just wanted to start with earth, since I believe that Alex Charles is definitely one of the very best immortals to use, either for free to play or low spenders, mid spenders, and even for high spenders in some scenarios. This will be all for this one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and mention in the comments down below what do you think about my tier list. If you have any ideas, let me know as well. This will be all for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and have a wonderful day.